Welcome back to our show, your show, Let's Talk Stocks. And joining us here at the conference, the 19th Regional Investments and Capital Markets Conference at the Jamaica Pegasus, is Mr. Stephen Ricketts. Now, Stephen is a Chief Operating Officer at NCB Capital Markets, a sponsor that has always been with us here at conference. Stephen, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you very much, Nielsen.
Stephen, let's get straight into it. What keeps you at NCB Capital Markets coming back, sponsoring the JC conference? You're not just a regular attendee. You're always at the top of the game.
If you look at NCB Capital Markets and as a part of the wider NCB Financial Group, NCB believes in building a better Jamaica. And if you look at our track record, we have actually expanded beyond Jamaica. And we now have a regional footprint. So if you look at what we are doing regionally, we're in different countries. We're in Cayman, we're in Barbados, Trinidad. We have just moved into Guyana. And what we are interested in as a regional entity is not only developing Jamaica and building a better Jamaica, but building a better region. What this Jamaica Stock Exchange conference, which has now gone regional, it's not just Jamaica. It fits within that mantra. We're a regional entity. This is a regional conference. We're speaking about developing stock exchanges across the region. And in fact, we have been first to market with some things. So we believe in innovation. If you look at what NCB and particularly NCB Capital Markets has done, we have done some innovative things in the market. Now, how we strengthen these capital markets is not only going to be, what we are doing at NCB, but it's how we are plugged in as partner and facilitator for other things. We look at this JC conference as an excellent contribution to developing the wider markets. And I think Dr. Street Forest and all that is happening down at JC in terms of leading and championing the regional market development, we think that, that fits right with us, and we have to continue to support this conference.
Stephen, you're a truly regional company, NCB Capital Markets, and you've seen across the region and here in Jamaica how the markets have evolved, and your company has been at the front of that evolution of the capital markets. From your perspective, how do you see the capital markets now and its ability to drive growth and expansion of businesses and GDPs across the region?
It's interesting that you asked that, Nielsen, because the region will expand as fast as the strength of the capital market builds. So if you look at where the capital markets are positioned today and look at all the transformation that has happened here in Jamaica, and you listen to the opening night of this conference, and Julian Mayer would have chronicled the growth of the capital markets and what the contribution has been in Jamaica here. If you look at the Jamaica story, which is a poster child, not only regionally, but internationally, you recognize that the capital markets have been at the center of development and transformation here in Jamaica. And because of where we are positioned now, yes, Jamaica is leading in terms of capital market development, but if you look at our regional counterparts, they are catching up. You look at what's happening in Barbados now, and yes, they are slower, but the truth is they are catching up. Same thing is happening again in Trinidad. So as we continue to build muscle in the regional capital markets, what you find will happen is that the capital markets will become that vehicle that we can partner with the governments in the region in terms of pushing not only what is happening in terms of the financial sector, but the wider economy. One of the challenge, though, that you're going to find to it, Nielsen, is, and it has been spoken about in this conference, the whole issue of talent and probably the shortage of talent. Now, the shortage of talent continue to constrain. So in the capital markets themselves, while it is that we are fitted for development, you'll find that as it relates to true innovative talent, to really move the capital markets from where it's at now to somehow a next generation capital markets, you're going to find that shortage of talent. You find a lot of rotation within the market, talents moving from one house to the other. But I think as a partner, the capital markets will continue to drive growth and facilitate growth, not only within Jamaica, but across the region.
Stephen, I like that you looked and put things in context of where the market is coming from, and you spoke to Julian chronicling some of those steps, that we, including some of the missteps that we would have taken to have gotten here. And when we look back even, say, 10 or so years ago, and how things transformed and evolved from there, you're right about the capital markets being at the center of everything. I know seeing private capital, private equity, taking the space of where the government used to be, and a lot more other nicely structured instruments. But you are key to those kind of structure. How is that going for you at NCB Capital Markets? The MSMEs, the different structures you're putting together for larger companies, and even infrastructure projects.
Yes, absolutely. So there are a couple of things. I'll approach that from two perspectives as it relates to just a wider participation and involvement as it relates to innovation. Now, NCB Capital Markets would have championed and led the way as it relates to Go IPO. Go IPO was a transformational initiative when we brought that to market, in terms of, instead of having all these paper application to participate in the stock exchange, you stay on your phone with an app and you can place an order in an IPO. That's where we were leaders in that. Now the market has caught up, but we were leaders there. Now, as it relates to looking at alternative financing, I would have had a session this morning that delved into some of that. What you found happening, and particularly as we moved away from this high interest rate regime, you find opportunities opening up once interest rates came down for us to look at different structures and how we could innovatively put things together to offer financing for companies. Now, we would have launched Stratus. Now, the Stratus platform, which is an off-balance sheet for NCB Capital Markets, Stratus platform offers financing through different funds. Now, when you look at what we have done with Stratus, we recently launched our small, it's really an SME fund. That SME fund, I would have had a participant in the conference this morning who actually benefited from a facility, in terms of a private equity facility, from the SME fund. So if you look at what it is that we have done, we have moved away. I mean, you can do straight equity financing, but then there are some entities that they are not necessarily ready to come to market. But you might have to, and we have done that, take a private equity position, or we might arrange a syndicate of investors to provide some private equity for the entity. And when you look at how we are offering services along the capital spectrum, it's a matter of finding innovative ways to make sure entities have financing. So again, in the session this morning, you had an entity out of Bahamas who would have spoken to the fact that we provided 19 million US in receivables financing. That gave the company a lot of oxygen, that they more than doubled their revenue because they had the breathing room for somebody coming, looking at their balance sheet, taking off an asset that, as far as they're concerned, they would have to now wait on financing. We are providing them upfront financing so they can go and do what they're best at, which is run their business. And we are best at providing financial solutions. So we provide them that opportunity, and then they have the room now to go and run their business.
All right. So you've looked at those financing types, you're structuring deals, you're bringing companies to market. But many people will say, but the others are doing that. In this era of disruptive markets, how are you going to know what's the next step for you to again differentiate yourself and set NCB apart, NCB Cap apart from the rest of the guys?
So there are a couple of things, Nielsen. The first one is service and relationships. When you look over the years, persons want to know that they can trust their financial advisor. So NCB has shown so much resilience over the years, and NCB is here to stay. NCB is going nowhere. And NCB Capital Markets is a part of that legacy, NCB. We are bedrock within the Jamaican economy. And so when you look at that, yes, persons know that, but they also want to know that as far as providing a financial solution, they are getting best in class. We want to be able to look at what a company has and tailor-make financial solutions that are best for the company. Because the truth is that not every company, the best solution is an IPO. Not every company, the best solution is private equity. So we are prepared, as the expert in financial advice, to sit down and drive that conversation and ensure that as it relates to service, we want to ensure that we're second to none. So if you look at what we would have been talking about within the space over the last 6 months or so, this whole discussion about EGC, where we're speaking about efficiency, governance, and customer experience. Customer experience is a central pillar of what we're doing and ensuring that not only the Jamaica public at large, but every customer that we sit down with understand that we take service seriously. And so when we deliver a financial solution, we're delivering the best value add that we can give to you.
And Stephen, there's so much to talk about, but I see they're giving me a wrap-up signal. What is it that you want to leave on the minds of investors looking on, watching the program? What should they think of when they think NCB Capital Markets?
Opportunity. Opportunity to have the best financial advice. Opportunity to have the best financial partner. And the reality is, when you sit down with NCB Capital Markets, you look at the growth trajectory of NCB, and that's what we are bringing to you. NCB Capital Markets is serious about wealth. And because we are serious about wealth, then when you come and form a relationship with us, it's not just about investing. We're forming a relationship in taking you along a journey to grow your wealth.
I like that. Stephen says opportunity. That's what NCB Capital Markets is giving you, the partner. They're not just a client or a customer. They're partner, and they're helping you to create financial wealth, generational wealth even. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, he's the Chief Operating Officer at NCB Capital Markets. He says, watch NCB's growth trajectory. You can do it too.
Absolutely.